Okay, now Gretchen, this is for John, but I mean for David, but I got to post it on your wall because David doesn't have a Facebook. So here I got some frozen bananas, frozen peaches, stuff a couple, maybe half banana, a peach, basically stuff that I froze. I don't know when, maybe months ago. But nice thing is that you can put stuff that's going bad away or freeze it to use later in the Vitamix for a smoothie. So anyway, I put some fruit, roughly a third of thing, maybe a little bit more when you start out because it tastes better. I'm using some frozen string beans. Again, they were starting to go bad, so I froze them. So I'm putting some string beans in there, right? So, there you go. Now what I do is I just start filling it up. I got greens here, fresh thing of spinach. I get a big tub like this because we go through a lot of it, obviously. Anyway, so I put some spinach in there, some bok choy, just a couple of stems. You don't really have to do much. Just get it into the Vitamix, basically. Then I got some, what else do I have here? I got some parsley. And I actually you can get right down almost to the stalks of the parsley, right? Like I don't use the final bottom stalks. I throw those out. Looks like we're almost down to that, but I kind of use almost to the bottom. Get some. So now I can throw that away. Done with the parsley. I'm going to put a little red lettuce in there today. So I got ahead of that. I like to kind of use different color stuff. Instead of all green, this is red. Obviously. Here I've got some, I don't know if this is, I think this might be Chinese cabbage. I'm not sure, I forget the name of it. I think it's Chinese cabbage, yeah. Got this yesterday. But, I'm just going to throw some of that in there. So, and then obviously, you can use anything you want. I got some purple kale. I don't even know what the name of this is. It's purple, though. So, I'm going to throw some of that in there. And I don't throw the stalk in. I just pull off. So, you get the stalk left. I throw the leaves in there, basically. So, now, I'm ready. I got this thing filled to the top. Now, some of that coconut milk that I prepared earlier, I'm going to pour about maybe half of that in here. Save half for the next day. I also like to use coconut water because it's a good electrolytes. It's good for staving off dehydration, which can be significant. I'm going to go grab another one. You can also use actual coconut milk or almond milk. I don't use any dairy, but this is Zico coconut water we get at Costco by the case. So that's what you want to do. Because obviously I go through a lot of it. I also use some cold water. So pour some cold water in there. I don't really have to measure this stuff. I'm just kind of pouring it up maybe to near the top with liquids. Then at this point, I'm going to blend it. All right, so move that over here, and I just start slow. Now I'm actually making more than just 232 ounces for Diane and me, because we give some to Debbie at work. So I'm going to pour some out because it's too full. It's too filled at this point for me to do the rest of what I do. But I'll deal with that. I'll pull that later. What I do now is I use some protein powder. It's very important for older folks. I like to use this one complete plant protein, plant fusion. Again, I get this from, I order this on Amazon. But, I use a scoop of that. And then I also use hemp protein. You see, and it's the high fiber one. See that? High fiber hemp protein. Again, you get this at, get that at Costco as well. That's Nutiva. So, I'm going to put the protein powder in there. Some of the hemp protein. That blend it up. Next thing I do, so I put some seeds. These are chia seeds. I don't measure them. I just kind of put a couple tablespoons, 2 tablespoons. This is flax seeds. Again, a couple tablespoons. This, very important. This is anti-inflammatory turmeric. Very effective, at least I found, anti-inflammatory. You don't want to put a lot of that in there. I put maybe a third of a teaspoon maybe in there, because it does have a strong flavor. So if you put too much in, you'll actually taste it. At this point, what I'm doing then is I'm going to put some ice in there. Now, the reason ice is important is this should be very cold, just like a milkshake tastes very good. Like a ice cream milkshake tastes really good when it's ice cold. It doesn't taste so good when it's all melted, right? It's the same principle. It tastes much better when it's cold and thicker, like a milkshake consistency. Maybe a little less consistent than a milk, less thick, a little less thicker than a milkshake. But I'm gonna blend this up. So now I'm pretty close to done. I'm going to put half of an avocado in there. Again, the order of this is not important, just as I think about it. But, I could have I've got other greens, chard, collard, that I just haven't put in today. But, I'll put that in another day. So basically just a half of an avocado. Just scoop that in there. So now I've got everything I want in there. I'm going to blend that up. Just making sure the consistency is right. So that stuff we had earlier, I'm going to pour that back in, because now I got the room for it. It's all the way filled to the top. So I just put my hand on the top. I never use the little thing that comes on the top. I just put my hand over it. Alright, so that's it. Basically what we have now, I'm going to pour this out in a glass cup. But what you want to do is get buy these cups from Baja Fresh. We got like 15, 20 of them. We go there, we buy 4 of them at a time. because they got lids, and then you can get plastic straws that you can buy. Diane will tell you where to get those. But you see this consistency now. You see this, if you can watch it. You see it pours, but it's thick. Consistency is thick. So there's one kind of thick consistency. And again, that's personal preference. You might like it thinner or even thicker, more liquidy. I like it kind of not as thick as a milkshake. But what I'm going to do now is these are 32 ounces each. So I fill up these 32 ounces. Just barely makes the 32 ounces with the stuff. So then what we do, we use these straws. These are plastic straws that Diane bought, but they're the lids. See, the lids got holes in them, so these straws fit perfectly through the hole, and then you can close it up, so you can kind of take it on the go. Now, I would say, if you don't, if you're not gonna travel, it might be easier to drink it without the straw, because the straw causes you to get some air. But delicious.